Toxic Sarcasm podcast. We're going to do a podcast here today about signs that you're dating a narcissist. I hear a lot about this all over, a lot from women. You'll ask, why'd you break up with your boyfriend? They'll say he was a narcissist. You don't really hear too many men say, hey, my girlfriend was a narcissist, but I think you're starting to hear it more now. So, always, myself,
women always think they're better than everybody else. So,
what's that?
The women always think they're better than everybody else and think they deserve more than they probably deserve half the time anyway. So,
oh boy, do they? They're all princesses. Everyone's a princess. So, as always, got myself, D. We got Rockstar. We have been away for a minute. We've been doing a lot of stuff, but we're getting back on the old boat, and we're going to have a lot more podcasts coming your way. So let's get going on with this here. Signs that you're dating a narcissist. So what is a narcissist? How much do you know about it?
I mean, it's obviously somebody that thinks they're better than anybody else, think they deserve recognition, just think that they think everybody owes them something.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I'll read.
Being successful is one thing, but the people that don't recognize themselves as being narcissistic, like, you see some of these famous, they're famous or whatnot, but they go out and they dress regular.
Right.
So you can kind of get some of that out of just seeing people, how they are and how they portray themselves and when they go out.
Right. So I'll read you the definition here, what's online of what a narcissist is, or a narcissistic personality disorder. It's a mental health condition in which people have an unreasonably high sense of their own importance. They need and seek too much attention and want people to admire them.
That's what people are addicted to. Attention.
Exactly.
Attention.
How often do we talk about that, like in regards to Instagram and the likes and everything?
Showing your booty. You want
exactly.
You don't care about anybody loving you anymore. You just want those likes. Like.
Yep, and that's funny you say that because it says people with this disorder may lack the ability to understand or care about feelings of others.
There you go.
So it seems like it's somebody that's pretty selfish.
Just wants it all about them.
Yeah, and it says here that they're also upset about the slightest criticism that you make towards them.
Well, and that was one of the things that came up. I was reading the other day about that, why men aren't dating.
Right.
And a lot of it had to do with most men just don't want to put up with the drama, don't want to have to feel like they're again deal with somebody that's a narcissist and have to, oh, you're beautiful every day, you're beautiful, oh, you're the best, you're the most wonderful thing on the planet. Guys don't want to do that. They want to just chill, they want to relax, go do your thing, I'll go do mine. Guys just don't want that. And then they were bringing up about all the porn on TV and they're saying that guys can just go on porn or go online for free and see porn and, basically knock one off and they're done. So, they don't need all the affection and all the making feel somebody good the whole time that they're with you,
Right. Half the time before, if I've got a girl that wants to come over and wants to hang out, sometimes I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna go flog the dolphin, and I'll see how I feel like after that.
Yeah, exactly.
If I still feel like hanging around her after that, then hang out with her. But if I don't, I'm like, ugh. I can tell that the only reason I wanted to hang out with her is because I had a load waiting, and now that it's gone, I can think with the big head.
Yeah. And it's a shame because that's kind of where social media has taken this. It's so easy for how is an honest man, or even if there was a guy out there that wanted some kind of relationship or a family, and nowadays, and they're even talking about this in college kids that they're not wanting to bring kids into this world right now. But how seriously can you actually take somebody when I can't imagine there's not at least 90% of the girls out there are on the internet half naked somewhere? I mean, how do you take somebody seriously and want any kind of relationship? So if they ask, why are guys not out wanting relationships or not wanting to have a family or whatnot, then, well, one, I don't want to have to feed her narcissism, and two, it's all over the place anyways. I'm not going to take you serious.
Right. And I mean, just like it says here, the definition, a narcissistic personality disorder is a mental health condition. So you're basically, if you hook up with someone like this, you might as well go to the Nord Center and wait in the parking lot and just grab a person that comes out. I mean, it is a mental disorder. So, and it happens between men and women. But saying that, talking about the definition here that I just read, do you know someone that's like that? Or have you ever dated someone that may have had that now that you've heard the definition?
I mean, I don't think to the extent that it is out there today in today's world.
Yeah.
Because, it was 20, 30 years ago, but it's been a big change. The internet changed everything.
Of course.
So no, because I don't think I stay around them long enough to find that out.
But I'll tell you, and I don't know if you've noticed, but I've noticed over the last couple of years, it's more prevalent. You're hearing more and more about people with narcissism or narcissistic personality disorder. I remember, even 10 years ago or so, you didn't hear as much about that.
Well, it's because it's about the money. I mean, you've got to feed that ego, and you've got to make, you want to go out there, and there goes back to attention.
Yeah.
You
and
have
I think
to have
like
that attention and then feed into that narcissism to make everybody think you're great and owe you everything to get that next dollar and show up somewhere.
Right. And I think, like you said, too, with the advent of the internet, we're able to actually see a lot more of these people now than we could say maybe 10 years ago.
Right.
So, maybe it was just as prevalent then, but there wasn't really a big interaction on the internet. So we didn't really know. But now
possible.
Everyone is on the internet showing off their ass or, doing something.
It's about the likes.
Yeah, that's it. So I'll tell you this.
I think we got a lot of issues in this country that we need to get resolved.
Well, they always talk about we need to put money into mental health. I mean,
yeah, but you also have to do it correctly, and you have to want it. I mean, you've got to want help.
Exactly. I mean, it's like the old, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink,
Right. But I hear all over the place too, that a lot of it's by choice. These people that are living, as bums or on the road or where, like California, a lot of them, a lot of it's by choice.
Right.
They get free phones, they get, free medical, they get free food. All they have to do is just sit back and do their drugs.
Yeah.
Some of these states want to pay them to do that, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. I mean, they get a lot of help over there too. Some of them need it, some of them don't. But I'll tell you, I could probably name a boatload of girls that I've been with that I could say fall into this category. And I just actually saw something this morning from a psychiatrist that said that if you're in a relationship, now this was actually a woman, she was referring to other women, She said, if you're in a relationship with a woman and she labels you as a narcissist, she is most likely doing what's called projecting.
Mm-hmm.
That means it's actually her that's a narcissist.
Right.
Yeah. So,
and that's why I mean, you're going to know who I'm talking about, but this girl I know unfortunately, everybody, we tried to do some videos while I was up in with a couple weeks ago, and we had some technical difficulties.
We got new technology, and we're still trying to get the glitches out. So
yeah. So but this girl I know that lives up there, and she's been going to school for, I don't know, 20, 30 years. Everybody I know goes to school for like all their whole life and never accomplishes anything. But anyway, she's becoming a psychology therapist. And I said, well, who's your therapist?
Yeah.
Because you one crazy bitch.
That happens a lot. And you know what? I read something that said a lot of females become therapists or psychiatrists to figure out what's wrong with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of those women, it's crazy. If they have mental issues, they're becoming therapists, and it's like
figure out their own problems.
Yeah, and it's like you have all these mental issues, and you're trying to tell me how I should run my life. I don't know about that.
You know that ultimately brings my mind to is a serial killer.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think that the way they manipulate minds to manipulate their own mind to think of what they're thinking of what other people are thinking.
Right.
And then it's like, now how can I get away with this?
Yeah.
It's a little freaky if you think about it.
Did you see the story where the guy developed this thing? He puts the little sensors on your head and scans your brain. And he said he found what almost every psychopath has, a section of the brain that goes off on these sensors, right?
Right.
So he tried it out on himself, and the sensors went off.
Oh, shit.
So he says, well, it looks like sometimes there's psychopaths, but they just don't act on it. So there may be people out there that are psychopaths, but they're not acting on the thoughts. So I think that was
the definition of a psychopath, right?
I could name a few people.
Somebody that continues to do the same thing over and over and over and expect a different result.
Right. Yeah, that came from Einstein. That was his quote on that. That makes a lot of sense.
And I think they need to start diagnosing that a lot more.
I believe so. They need to come down with a different study, because I don't know how well that guy's is going to work.
Lower standards.
From that study, there's probably a boatload of people that, according to that test, are psychopaths. But I guess if you don't act on it, you're not labeled one. So essentially what he's saying is, if somebody doesn't know you're a psychopath, you can't be labeled as a psychopath.
Yeah, you got to wait until
you do
somebody.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So going back to,
that goes to the same thing of putting a restraining order on somebody. Every time I hear on the news, these women it was just recently, this lady had a restraining order on her, I don't know, boyfriend, husband, whatever it was. And umpteen times. And then he goes in and takes her out. It's like, right. There's got to be some kind of reform to that. You've got to, there's got to be something that can be done about that to take it a little bit more serious, and that the law doesn't have to wait until something actually happens to somebody to try and prevent it.
Well, see, that's a slippery slope, because you have
you got the cry wolves.
You have some women that cry wolf, and they go in there, and I know quite a few of them that have done it. I know quite a few guys, friends and friends of friends that have gotten a restraining order against them, eventually got it dropped because there wasn't no substantial evidence. They didn't actually do anything, but they still got that. And when the tables were turned and the woman did something to violate it, she did not get in trouble. Now, don't get me wrong. I have seen some women that got in trouble. They violated the
Sounds like our Justice Department.
Yeah. Yeah. But, if you got to go straight across the board if you're going to do this. If a guy does it and a girl does it, they both have to have the same consequence.
Well, if our federal government can't do it, then how do you expect the regular society to do it?
Oh, geez. We have it's more like the injustice system. The banks the courts are all big banks. It's all about transfer of money. That's all it is. You ever notice you get pulled over for something or arrested for something? They slap 8 different charges on you. And then, you got to go get the lawyer to try to knock those charges off. And it's like, geez, what?
To prove it different. It's like, yeah.
It's just another fine just about money. But,
I got a ticket the other day.
Did you?
Yeah.
Going too slow?
It's going too slow. I was going down US 1. I was heading towards 95 on US 1 to head to Orlando for an appointment. And, I was getting ready to go into a meeting, a conference call while I was driving, dumb. And then I was trying to eat a sandwich. And then I was driving to my appointment all at the same time. And I see this trooper go by and I look down and I'm like, So then I see him slowing down. He turns, I'm like, oh, shit. So he comes up, puts flashlight on, I pull over. And
he said, "Sir, do you know how fast you were going?" 7.
Yeah, I had to tell him I had guns on me. So he took all my license and permits and stuff like that. And he goes, well, yeah, I clocked you at 85 and a 65. And I was like, yeah, I was getting ready to go into an appointment. Then I was eating a sandwich. He's like, oh, well, you're driving?
Uh-huh.
He goes, just don't go for yours and I won't go for mine. And I'm like, hey, no problem here. I'm trying. Right. So he knocked it down and hooked me up. So
nice.
Nice. Hey, they're just doing their job.
Yeah.
If they and look at the cities that don't have them and what's going on.
Speaking on this real quick, we just had an officer that was
so thank you for your service, officers.
Yeah. We just had an officer that was terminated for misconduct 2 days ago.
Oh, we have that in St. Augustine all the time.
Yeah.
Domestic violence.
I have a little backstory on what I think happened.
You got a backstory.
I think it was a little in the car action. You know what I'm saying? He was doing a little he was servicing and he was getting serviced.
Oh.
Possibly. Because I know
video of that?
Huh?
You got video of that?
Oh, I don't know. They haven't come out yet, but I'll tell you, as soon as whatever evidence they had, as soon as they turned it over to Internal Affairs, they fired him instantly. So he was on, leave, and then they turned the evidence over, and he got fired. So
the cop was getting some nookie in the back of the police.
I don't know. I'm going to look into it further, but I have some background information on it, which would make sense, but who knows? But
there's been a lot of that around here. I mean, there was like a few month section that it was like a St. Johns County police officer arrested for domestic violence.
Right.
St. Johns County Sheriff deputy arrested for domestic violence. I mean, there had to be at least a dozen of them.
Right.
And I'm like, well, now you know how everybody else feels when you say you didn't do it.
Yep.
Or it wasn't as bad as they said it was.
Yep. So I was looking on here, brought up some more information. A lot of people will say, what causes a narcissist? Like, where does it come from? Are you just born with it? Does it happen? So, they say that experts estimate that 5% of people in the United States have narcissism.
I mean, I think everybody would like to be appreciated, and
it says that if you have it, it's usually going to appear in your late teen age to early adulthood. But when it appears, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to continue. So What do you think, just in your mind, and I'll name what it says here, what do you think might cause that type of disorder? Wanting the likes, wanting the attention, thinking you're better than everyone. Your mic's off. Think you muted yourself.
I think I think especially nowadays and with the internet out there again, everybody wanting to be like the next Mr. Jones or Mrs. Jones or wanting to compete with other people. So I think that those narcissistic tendencies come to where, okay, now I need to get the attention. And then when they see and they go out there and get themselves looking like a lot of them do nowadays and paint their faces up and look like plastic dolls, then it's all about the likes. You got to get that attention. You got to, and maybe sometimes some people get humbled by it, some don't, and take it to the extreme.
So you think, and this is a theory I kind of have too, that maybe the traits are in almost everyone already, but it takes something like the internet and Instagram and stuff to bring it out. You know what I'm saying?
Bullies. And then, like you see some of these people that, guys, for instance, they're geeks or nerds when they're younger, and then they, go through whatever they go through and being bullied and all that. And then you see them 30 years yet later at a reunion and they're jacked like Hulk Hogan.
Right.
So I think some of it could have to do with that. And then when you get to that point, then there again, it's about competing. It's about likes. It's about showing yourself off. Right. And then I think depending on where, then it's up to that person of where they take it from there, whether they're humbled by it or whether they take it to the extreme and just become a jackass.
Yeah. So here's a couple of causes for the personality disorder. May result from a combination or just one of these. So what they say here is it could be caused by childhood trauma, physical, sexual, or verbal. Early relationships with parents, friends, and relatives. I don't know what that means. Early relationships.
I don't have either of those make you become a narcissist, but okay.
This one's interesting. Genetics. Say being a narcissist can actually be passed down genetically. That's very interesting. Hypersensitivity to textures, noise, or light during childhood. And personality and temperament.
That one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody can break a habit. Anybody can break a habit and not as far as when it comes to genetics.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that, but I think that last one's probably the closest one, I would think.
Right. Yeah. And it could be one or all of those. What it says is they mostly, somebody might have those for a few weeks or a month or something. But it says here they're usually diagnosed over a period of time, showing a long-term pattern of those.
Yeah.
So if somebody can,
I don't think you become narcissistic overnight. Unless you're a real douchebag.
Right. It's a possibility, but yeah, I guess it's becoming more and more prevalent now than it ever has been. And like I said, I don't know if that's just because it's more out there on the internet.
But I'm sure we'll find out that that's racist or something.
Something, yeah. Somebody's offended by it
anymore.
So yeah, somebody's offended right now. They don't even know that we're talking about this,
and they're offended.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It says so. About every 1 in 200 people in the U.S. are diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder.
1 in how many?
1 in 200.
1 in 200.
And this is odd because I've read a different story on this, but this site says that 75% of people diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder are actually men.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Yes, I read a recent study. I'm going to have to find it. I wish I would have saved it. I think it's on my other computer, but I read a recent study that said that more women are being diagnosed with it now.
You know, and now that I think about it, I can almost understand that, because if you're, obviously a gorgeous guy or really handsome guy and you've got money,
Mm-hmm.
then I could see that happening more in men.
You want to know what the most prone careers to narcissism are?
Porn.
So, no, you would think 17% of first-year medical students and 20% of people in the military are diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder.
Yeah, because they think they're just the badass and better than everybody else. Same thing, medical and in the military. They just think, oh, I'm the shit, and you need to recognize.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, it says it frequently occurs with other dependencies such as depression, anxiety, eating disorder, bipolar, and substance abuse disorder. So it looks like you can be narcissist and also depressed. It's just weird. I'm better than everyone, but I'm depressed.
Well, maybe you are depressed when you're a narcissist because everybody thinks you're an asshole. So nobody really likes you. And
yeah, but it says that they don't kill. They don't.
It's all a lie.
It says that they have a hard time caring about other people's feelings. So, if people thought you were an asshole, would they really care?
Maybe after a long time of douchebagness, their feelings start to come around. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, you know who actually is on the most meds, antidepressants?
Michael Jackson.
No, he might have been. It's actually females. 1 in 10 women between ages of 18 and 39 use antidepressants.
Yeah, because they're all bipolar.
And the number goes 1 in 5 between ages of 40 to 59. And 1 in 4 women over 60. So that's a lot of women out there taking antidepressant meds.
And they wonder why guys aren't out there wanting a relationship.
Yeah, and like you said, it is for bipolar disorders.
We have just solved the biggest crisis on the planet of toxic sarcasm, ladies. You bitches are crazy.
Yeah. So I don't. I think some of these studies. I mean, from my own views, I've seen more women that would fall under the category of being narcissistic than I have seen men. Now, I'm not a therapist. I don't get people coming in, but me, just from my personal life, I've seen a lot more women that would fall under this definition.
Well, yeah, you know why? Is because I ran out of gas, has to act that way because I ain't got shit. So I got to act like a narcissist to stray you away from that I ain't worth shit.
Yeah. So we touched on this a little bit before. Why do you think this disorder has become such a hot topic now?
Attention.
Yeah.
Everybody wants attention.
I think that about sums it up. And I'll tell you one more thing I think it is. I think it is just one more game of blame that women can use on why they broke up or cheated on their boyfriend or husband. And it's just one more card they can throw in their deck to say, oh, he was a narcissist. I left him because he was a narcissist. I cheated because he was a narcissist. And in reality, that's who they are.
Until you pull out that video of that crazy chick.
Yeah. And it's funny. You always
find like being a narcissist.
Yeah. You always find the women freaking out. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there are some guys out there.
Yeah. But it goes both ways. But ladies,
I personally have seen
stop being so goddamn crazy.
Yeah. And another thing,
and chill out.
Another thing, you women, if you see these traits or these signs in a guy, don't stay with him.
Yeah.
You can't stay with him for 3, 4, 5 years and then complain. Oh, he was a narcissist. He treated me like shit.
You're
He
not,
was a
don't
narcissist.
try to change somebody.
Right.
If you don't like the way they are, then don't stay.
And I'll tell you this, speaking on that, here are a couple of traits that men or women can look for. If you're dating someone, here's some things that you can look for to know that somebody might be a narcissist. Does it necessarily mean they are 100%? No, but these are some key factors, red flags you can check for. So, first one here is they were charming at first. So your relationship might have been like the fairy tale in the beginning. Maybe
What's
they tell
the
you,
first? Like the first date? The first week?
yes, it doesn't say. I'm assuming it means the beginning of the relationship.
Well, that's why you don't get married 3 weeks after you've been with somebody.
Yeah, dude, I see people get married at 6 months, and it's like they say that you don't really see who a person is for at least 90 days. Me personally, I'm gonna wait 2 years.
90 years.
90 years, yeah. Then maybe I'll get married. But yeah, so, but I mean, I think every relationship, the beginning is.
No, it's always peachy.
Yeah, I think everyone's charming in the beginning. They're always hiding who they really are. They're always wearing a mask in the beginning because they want to be liked. So,
right. And it's to determine, how. I think the biggest thing is if you're going to try to get into a relationship,
mhm.
you obviously need to live together to deter. I mean, if you're thinking about a relationship, a long-term relationship, you definitely got to live with somebody, and you've got to make sure that the way I lived before you were here, I can continue to live that way for both parties. And if you can't, and if you have to hide something or not be able to do something, then that's it. Then it's just not meant to be. You can't expect somebody to change and it eventually not come out later on down the road that now it's an issue. So if you're going to do it, get it all out. This is who I am. This is what I am. This is what I do. If you like it, great. If not.
Yeah, let's not waste our time.
Yeah,
let's bang and move on.
That's it.
Let's
and what's wrong with banging? Why can't, that was another thing. It's like, you have a girl come over and hanging out, whatever, you bang, blip, up, gone, out the door. What's wrong with that?
I mean, I think with this hookup culture now, a lot more people are doing it, which is great.
You need to snuggle.
I see a lot of these guys. Yeah, I'm not cuddling or snuggling.
I gonna hug you.
I see a lot of these guys that, they're still the betas or the simps, and they're complaining, oh my God, all these girls, they're garden tools. They're going around, sleeping around with all these guys. So?
Yeah.
So? Do the same thing. I mean,
what they're doing it, we're doing it. What's the difference?
Right.
What's the difference?
So, I'm just going to breeze through some of these traits that people should watch out through real quick. They hog conversation, always talking about how great they are. They feed off of your compliments. They lack empathy. They don't have many long-term friends. Oh, I've seen that quite often in people, especially women. They pick on you constantly. That's weird. They gaslight you. Oh, I hear this a lot now.
Yeah, the gaslighting.
Yeah, gaslight, a form of manipulation and emotional abuse. It's a hallmark of narcissism. That is a huge one I hear. Every woman will say, oh, he always gaslighted me. He was a narcissist. And then you say, well, could you give me the definition of a narcissist? Well, it was him. That's the definition. No, that's not what a definition is.
And what did he gaslight you on?
Exactly. Yeah. They say that gaslighting is you no longer feel like the person you used to be. You feel more anxious and less confident in yourself. You often wonder.
Get your ass up off the chair and get out the door.
Yeah, exactly.
It's your own
apologizing
fault,
often.
ladies, men.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if and you know what? If somebody's making you feel like that, at the end of the day,
Want to be
you
with them?
it's you yourself that makes the decisions.
Yeah.
Decisions. If the person makes you feel like crap, don't feel that way.
Yeah.
Don't let your emotions control you.
That's like you know, and I know it's kind of a sore topic, but it's like abusers.
Mm-hmm.
And the women are like, well, I couldn't leave him. I loved him, but he beat
Right.
my ass next week, and but he said sorry, and I love him, and then he beat my ass again and put me in the hospital. Like,
Right.
shut the up.
Yep.
You're either a dumbass or get your ass out of the house. Don't sit here and cry wolf
Exactly.
or
And
deal.
want to know what? If they say the girls always like the bad guys. If you want to stay with them, go right ahead, but don't come to me and complain about
Cry
it.
about it. I don't want to
Don't
hear
wanna hear it. Right.
it. Period.
So there's just a couple more here. They think they're right about everything and never apologize. I think I do that.
I mean, if I really think I'm wrong, I'll apologize, but
Right.
I mean,
Well, I tell people
try to be human to some point.
I'm not always right, but I'm never wrong.
Right.
Oh, here's a good one. When you show them you're really done with them, they lash out.
Oh, and we are seeing that
Yeah.
current.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's just a couple traits. How to prepare for the breakup with a narcissist.
Oh shit.
You should constantly remind yourself you deserve better.
Call SWAT.
Yeah. Stre- Strengthen your relationship with your
Call the
empathetic
military.
friends. You should say just get a gun. I don't know.
Well, I'm good.
Build a support network. Urge your partner to talk with a therapist. See a therapist yourself. That's the best advice right there.
How the hell are you going to tell a crazy bitch to see a therapist? What do you think she's going to do? She's going to turn around and probably throw something at you.
Yeah. So I found this story here that's actually, and it's crazy because how I was telling you about, I've seen a lot more women being diagnosed with narcissism.
Mm-hmm.
So if I've searched on Google, I get a lot of stories about how men are narcissists. Now, when I use DuckDuckGo search, this story I'm going to read here next came right up. 11 signs you're dealing with a sneaky female narcissist. So it seems like Google wants to push it on the men, but DuckDuckGo is showing me articles that women are more narcissistic, which is weird. But Google, what are you doing there? So
You know what they're doing.
here's a couple of signs that
Sucking the government's dick.
yeah, she's a sneaky female narcissist. And think back while I'm naming these. Think about maybe a few girls you've dated in the past and see if these were any signs they might have done. So number one, she can't stand not being the center of attention.
Yep.
She uses her sexuality to manipulate others.
Yep.
Her sense of boundaries is twisted.
Yep.
Her lack of empathy is startling.
Yep.
They see others like their own children or an extensions of themselves. Wow. That means they treat their children as objects. They use their children
I
for
stay away from the children.
Yeah. They sabotage those that they are envious of. Oh,
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
They idolize, devalue, and discard people.
Yep.
She enjoys creating harems and love triangles. Oh, yeah. Multiple men fighting over each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
She becomes enraged at the slightest criticism and feels she has to eliminate the source.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Good God. I know everybody, a lot of people with this. She is hypocritical and micromanages those she feels represent a threat to her grandiose self-image.
Oh, yes.
And last but not least, she takes a sadistic pleasure in duping, abusing, and bullying you. Good God, dude, those are on point.
Jesus Christ.
Holy crap. I mean, do you know how many women are running through my head right now that fit probably all of these?
All of them.
Good God.
How many women are in the world?
Geez, dude, I would beg to say it's at least 90% of the women in the U.S. fit those categories.
Yes.